Hello, all you wonderful people out there in the dark. Thank you again so much for checking in. I wanted to talk a little bit about Sprouts. What's that, Sancho? No, not the store Sprouts. Why do I need to go to the store Sprouts? I'm talking about the games. Yeah, I do like those. Yeah? Yeah, I like those too. Yeah, you're right. Oh, okay, well, when I'm done with this, we'll go to Sprouts and we'll pick some of that stuff up. Anyway, I wanted to share with you today the game you may have heard of. It's called Sprouts. It's a simple pen and paper game, but it's got some amazing mathematical properties that I wanted to share with you. And aside from the mathematical properties, quite frankly, it's quite a bit of fun for adults and kids around the world. So the game was invented about 1967. A cat, John Conway and Michael Patterson in Cambridge University, they came up with this game, and they called it Sprouts. I really don't know why, but that's what they called it. And what it is you can place any number of dots that you want to on a page, and you basically have to connect the dots. So something similar to this. You can see here, I've just said you start with 2 dots, then you draw a line. I'll explain this more here as we go, but there's basically 3 rules to Sprouts. Again, you can do any number of dots. We're just gonna do 2 for simplicity's sake. First rule, the line can be straight or curved, but the line itself can't touch or cross itself or any other lines. Second rule, a new dot can be placed on the line that was drawn, but it can't be placed at the end point. So if this game started with these 2 dots, player 1 drew a line from dot 1 to dot 2 and then placed a dot in the middle, ending his or her turn. And the third rule is not more than 3 lines can be attached to a dot. So you can sort of see here, this has got 3 lines coming off of it. So that effectively, that dot can no longer be played. That dot is dead, if you will. So that's basically the rules of the game. And this kind of took over the University of Cambridge in 1967. But one of the things that these guys figured out is, from a formulatic standpoint, I think that's the right word. Well, let me just show it to you. 3n minus 1 is basically the number of moves to finish the game if it's played perfectly, and n being the number of dots. So for our purposes, 3n minus 1, if n equals dots and we do 2 dots, you can see it'd be 3 times 2 minus 1, which is 5. Because 3 times 2 is 6, 6 minus 1 is 5. So you should be able to end that game in 5 moves. Now, to sort of prove this out, here, for example, here's move 1, bang and bang, you can see it there. Move number 2, drew a line, then a dot. Move number 3, you can kind of see the progression here. And by move number 5, the game is over because this dot has 3 lines coming off of it, this dot has 3 lines coming off of it, this dot has 3 lines, this dot has 3 lines. And I know what you're saying, Ryan, well, why can't you draw a line from here to here, because both of these dots don't have 3 lines? Remember rule 1, you can't cross the lines, effectively ending the game in just 5 moves if it's done correctly. Now, the interesting thing is, that's if it's done correctly. I took a moment, and based off of just 2 dots, this is the potential number of moves it would take to win, or the potential number of variants to moves to win the game. You can see here, if we start with 2 dots, we go this way, and we sort of work our way down the chain. Those are all the various moves that could be made with just 2 dots in the game of Sprouts. That took a minute. But anyway, this cat, Dennis Molson, I think right around 1970, 69, 70, he was at Heriot-Watt University, and he was able to figure out a 6-dot game. It only took him a month, but it ended up being 47 pages of this crap to figure out all the variations it would take to actually win the game. And again, 3n-1, that's if the game's played perfectly. But what this Molson guy figured out was essentially the advantage from dots from 0, 1, and 2, that advantage is for the person who goes second. 3, 4, and 5 moves, that's the advantage for the person who goes first, and the 6th move would be the person who goes second. I know what you're thinking. That's what I'm getting to, Sancho. Yes, how can you have 0 dots? Well, simply put, if no one puts a dot down, if there's no dots, then the second player wins because the first player can't draw a line without any dots, which is why Mr. Molson included 0 in his formula. Now in 1990, the game kind of died out for a while, I guess, or was played underground like Dungeons and Dragons and things of that nature. In 1990, a couple of cats got together and they used a sophisticated computer from the 90s, and they were able to run calculations that got this up to 11 dots. And I'm sure you will be amazed to find out that 6, 7, 8 favored the second player, 9, 10, and 11 favored the first. So the process sort of continued. Now in 2011, they managed to get a supercomputer, and they got it up to 44 dots before the computer couldn't basically computate any further. Again, this was the math or the drawing for just 2 dots. So imagine the combinations for 44 dots, how long that would take. And quite frankly, our brains just can't, quite frankly, it was all I could do to manage 2. If I had to do 3 dots, my head probably would have exploded. But I thought it was kind of an interesting and fun game. Obviously, you need 2 people to play, or at least 2 voices in your head, I suppose, bouncing around. But I wanted to share it with you. I think you should go play it, go do a little investigation. I think you'll find it interesting. And it is kind of fun because there actually is some strategy behind it. And this is one game where going first or second actually does matter. And I suppose if you're doing 2 dots, if you want just simply memorize this, you'd be able to do it in that 5 moves that the formula the 2 guys that invented it, Conway and Patterson, came up with. I don't know how much of that is true, just because there's so many combinations. For someone to choose the right combo seems like impossible to one, but there you have it. Anyway, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. So in this world, when you could be anything you want to be, you be kind, you be humble, you be forgiving, and you be melting snow. Bye-bye.